Good afternoon. Today we'll be learning how to make a cookie cutter out of a tin can. First step of this is to disassemble a can. I used a can opener to take off the bottom of the can to start off with. So, as you can see, I worked my way around the can, slowly cutting it. I couldn't go in one motion as the tin opener wouldn't spin. So, I'm working on slowly. Again, this saves you a bit of time in the long run as it leaves a bit of a cleaner edge so it's easier to deal with. You work your way around. Eventually you'll come to a point now you'll see the can lid starts to lift off. You just keep working. And here we go, you'll see it just comes off now. Quite simple, here it comes. As you can see, there it is, gone. So, the following step will be to look for the little line along the can. This is the seam of the can. So take your scissors and cut along the seam. Starting off at the bottom or top, up to you, but cut halfway. Don't try and cut too far as it becomes quite difficult and it becomes easy to miss the line. Swap it over and continue back from the opposite side. Again, just cut until you're cut and it should come apart. This should create quite a clean cut. In my case, it left a tiny bit of metal, which you can see I've pulled off and put aside. So now you want to straighten your can out a bit. By doing this, you're just making it a bit easier to work in future. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is find the center of the can now. You're going to use a koki to do this, preferably a whiteboard koki as it's easy to clean off and you don't have to worry about it too much. So as you can see, I've started off here by trying to figure out where the dips are, as it can be kind of hard to make these out from the trough. So start off by working your way through, by just marking each one and counting. You'll notice here I make one long one. That long one is the center of the can in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make little holes along the can. This is the way I'm going to break this can off. You can use other methods. This to me is the easiest way to get a straight line. I just used a knife that I didn't really care about as it will get blunt, a cutting board to protect the table below, and you just work your way along. As you can see now with all the little holes, you just got to bend it a couple times for it to start breaking along that seam. So I just bent it over, being careful not to bend it too much to the point where I damage the can itself. So you go through again, a bit of a wiggle, and there it comes. So it'll take a bit of time, but you eventually get it. You get better at it as you do it more and more. Almost there, breaking it now. There we go. So the next step will be to look at your edges. See this one here? It's quite a clean edge already, to the point where we don't need to touch it up. This one, however, as you can see, it's a bit raised on the one side. So what you're going to want to do is cut along the surface with your pair of scissors just to make it neater so that when you fold it over, it looks a bit better. So as we cut along here, I'm using the little ridge where it changes in elevation as a way to line my scissors up and follow. So I'm just taking my time as it will save you time in the future with not needing to redo this step. Well, there we go. Now you can see this edge is a lot cleaner and can be used now. So that's pretty much it in preparing your can. Today we'll be learning how to make a kite cookie cutter. First step is to identify your main points. These are your lines of cutting and folding. With a kite, you're going to have two short pieces which form the top half of the kite, one long piece which forms half of the bottom half of the kite, and two short pieces which form the other half of the bottom kite. The reason why we use two short pieces for the one half is because we want to make our connection point in the middle of one of the long sections, as this is the easiest way to work. So in this video, I'm going to start by folding over the kite sections. As in all of these folds go in the same direction. So you'll see here, just using the ruler as usual to bend it over. All these folds are just an initial fold so that it's in place when I do the top bead so that you don't cut your hands when you're pushing on it. And here comes the final fold, which brings up the second half of the short sections that make up the bottom long half. So you'll see we have a general shape of your kite / diamond. So we just refine the shape a bit. And now what we're going to do is we're going to unfold it. You can see here I'm just bending it out a bit. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fold over this edge so that we don't cut our hands on it. So just take your pair of pliers as in all the videos before and start working your way from one end to the other. You can do this step before you fold the kite sections out. It's truly up to you. It doesn't affect it too much. You can see here, just using my fingers as usual to push over the can to the point where I can just fold it over now with the pliers easily. So you'll see here, I start going up. As in all the other videos I say, the more time you spend on this, the better it will look. It doesn't need to be perfect in my opinion. I just use the pair of pliers here just to help get the folds again. And there we go, we're back to the form here. So as in before, now we need to figure out how we're going to join the two cans together, how wide the tabs are going to be. So we're going to get our Koki and we're going to mark as close to the center point as possible between these two tabs. Now you can see we've got the lines here. Now again, we've got to choose which one is going to go in and out. Again, up to you. I personally normally choose the one that fits on the outside to bend inwards. So we'll see here, we'll just get the pair of pliers and we're just going to bend it in. Here I'm just trying to figure out which one I want to bend in which direction. So here we go. Just bend it in nicely, one from either end so that it bends a nice fold. And now since we bent this one inwards, we've got to bend the opposite one outwards, as you can see me doing right here. So I'm just going to push it down with my fingers, so now when I hook it together, it hooks together a bit better. If this doesn't come out perfectly the first time, don't be scared to just redo it. You can unfold it and refold it. Here you can see I'm just clamping it down again. You can see here I'm a little bit unhappy with how that turned out, but we just use the pliers to push it down to the point where it fits together nicely. Just gave it a little tap on the top to line it up nicely, and there we go. Thank you very much for watching.